I think we're live. Hi, everybody.
Hey.
Welcome to our first official Facebook Live event. Hopefully somebody's watching. Oh, we have two people. Hi, Janice. Okay, so tonight we are covering three topics. We're talking about anybody who has actual app questions, Final Surge related app questions. We'll do our best to troubleshoot. And if we can't answer a question, we will certainly get the answer for you. The app developer, Tim Surface, might actually be on this event. We don't see him logging in yet, but hopefully he joins us. If he doesn't, he's just a phone call away. So anything that we can't answer, we will get an answer for you. So app questions, we're going to talk about training questions, like specific to the training schedule. So if anyone has questions there. And then we're just going to talk quickly about how to stay motivated. And we would love to also hear from you guys about how you guys stay motivated. That's good information to share. So let's get started. It looks like we have a good group of people who have joined. Ted says, hi, everyone. And so does Paula. Hi. Okay, so let's dive in. First of all, pretty cool. We have 71 people registered for this program.
Wow, guys are great.
Yeah, and I would say out of 71 people, there's 98% of you have opened an account, are actively using Final Surge and using the training program. There's a few of you who aren't quite on board fully yet, and I've been communicating with you guys. So hopefully we can get to 100% super soon. Okay, so we did ask, in order to prep for this event, we asked ahead of time if anyone had any questions, and we have been troubleshooting them along the way. So we didn't see anything crazy, and I think we've kind of worked through them. One question that did come up, and if you didn't ask it, you might be thinking it, is how to use the Macmillan calculator, because that's one thing we recommended you guys use in order to get the most out of your workouts. It helps you to target your workouts a little better, especially when you're doing the track work and the interval work. So Paul is going to talk to you a little bit about Macmillan calculator.
Hope everybody's doing okay out there. So the Macmillan calculator, basically what it does is it takes your goal time that you're looking for in whatever event you're going to be doing, whether it's a 5K, a 10K, a half marathon, or full marathon. And then it breaks that down into times based on your tempo run or your speed work. So most of the time it's going to be it'll be a little bit faster than what your actual pace for the race is going to be. And that's so your race pace becomes a lot easier. So it does talk about your heart rate. So based on whether it's going to be an easy run, a moderate run, or a hard run, it's going to depend on where your heart rate should be. So your hard run is going to be more like 90 to 100%. Your moderate run will probably be in the 80s. And then your easy runs are probably going to be in like the 60s to 70s range, along that line. So easy runs, conversation pace, low heart rate. Moderate runs, you want to be able to get a few words out, moderate speed. And then your hard workouts, you really shouldn't be talking much at all. Just breathing would be good. And it's going to be at a hard 90 to 100% effort. So that's going to be really towards your max.
Right. And if anyone's, sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead. No.
If anyone is curious about that, what for them specifically, what your maximum heart rate should be during exercise, you simply take 220, the number 220, and subtract it from, and subtract your age from 220. So for instance, I'm 21, so I took 220, I'm kidding. So I took 220 and subtracted my age, and my maximum heart rate during exercise is 169. So
if you're doing a hard workout, you're going to be somewhere between 90 and 100% of that. So you're going to be somewhere around 160 to 169. Your heart rate should never go past 169. If it does, then you're way out of sync there. And so, and again, if you're supposed to be at 60%, it's 60% of 169. You just have to do the math. And they just want to kind of keep your heart rate nice and steady throughout that workout.
Okay. And I know there's a column, so I'm looking, I have the app pulled up on my phone. So there's a column all the way to the right that says RPE, and that stands for rated perceived effort. So it goes from 0 to 10, the scale. 0 would be as if Paul and I are just sitting in the chair and we're just chilling out. So the RPE for this is 0. But if we were outside and I was chasing Paul and he was probably just running conversational, but I was working super hard, it would probably be a 10. So that's kind of, you just kind of base the scale from there. If you literally Google RPE, it comes up with a scale and it helps you sort of figure out that 0 all the way to 10 and what that should feel like and how you would describe it. Did we hit everything?
I think we did.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions about, looks like we've got a good amount of people who have joined us. So does anybody have any questions specific to the app, specific to the Macmillan calculator?
Or anything.
Anything about the app before we move on to training? Wow.
Guys are good.
Guys are awesome. Okay. Doesn't mean you can't ask later. So you could always post. We will post this video. You can always ask on Facebook. You know how to reach us. You can email us. You can call us. But we could always circle back and make sure you guys are good. So let's move on to training. So we have 2 specific schedules. One is laid out for beginner. One is laid out for intermediate. And within those, you will have an all walk option, a run walk option for beginner, and then for intermediate, you'll have a run walk option and an all run option. So on the days that you should be running / walking, you're going to see 2 workouts. So you choose the one that is better fit for you. And then there are obviously cross training days, and there are also rest days. So I see Rosemary wrote in, when doing trainings on different days, do you move the training or do you just add a new training into that day? So you can, so that's a good question, because we did notice that a lot of people are switching it up, which is totally fine. If you look at this calendar, Sunday to Saturday, you'll obviously know the days we've carved out, how many walk run days there should be, how many rest days, and how many cross training days, and your hard interval day. And honestly, I feel like as long as you're getting the workouts in, it doesn't really matter which day you're landing on. You want to pay a little bit more particular attention to that as we get closer to race day.
Yeah, because you just want to make sure you spread it out. Like if you have a hard day and you're going to move that hard day to closer to another hard day, you kind of want to be able to separate that a little bit more, because you don't want to have too many hard days in a row, because you want your body to recover and rest in between so you can perform for the next hard day, so you can actually get that effort for the next hard day.
Right. And there is a specific way, Rosemary, for you to go in and alter your workout. You could go in and just type in what you did and change it around. I don't know if you really need specifically to do that. I think if you use the schedule as a guide, I can see and Paul can see exactly what you're doing. So Rosemary, today I can't switch my screen right now because then you won't see us and then things will get wacky. But let's say today you didn't do your speed workout because it was really cold out there, or you just couldn't get to the track. If you instead did an easy run, or maybe you went to the gym instead, I can see your activity. I see that you did something. Let's say you were moving for 40 minutes. I can see that you did that. So that's not a problem. Just try to get your track work in on another day, just swap that out. So hopefully that answers your question. If you need to specifically find out how to like alter that week, I can have an offline conversation with you and just make sure you're doing that right. But there is a way to do that if you click on your calendar. there's like a plus sign, and you can delete your workout and add one in and literally type it in. I don't know if you really want to go through that work, but that's a good question. I think that one thing we wanted to make sure, Paul and I were talking before the event started, is that we want to make sure you guys are warming up. Super important for you to warm up right now, because it's not like we're having these 90-degree days where your muscles are already warm when you start to run, and it's not super critical that you spend 15 minutes warming up. But right now, you really should make sure that you're running on warmer muscles. So you should definitely take the time to warm up, and then obviously to cool down also. You want to make sure that's a good way to prevent injury. Oh, that's a good way. Okay, let's talk about injury report as I'm getting thumbs up. So we noticed there's probably about 4 people who have noted injury reports, which is something that you guys can do as athletes. And it's a good way for us to stay connected with you, to figure out what's going on. If we just see a workout that's posted and we're wondering why it was altered, or maybe it was a little slower than your normal workouts, it's good for us to know what's going on. So one thing for you guys to remember is that we are not doctors. We might look like doctors.
We might have played a doctor or two on a TV show, but.
So we're not doctors. So although we definitely want you to let us know what's going on, we can't use that to diagnose or anything like that. So just know that if, it's good to communicate. It's good to communicate, and we'll definitely let you know if we feel like if this is persisting, you should definitely go and get it checked out. But continue using those injury reports. Hopefully there's a lot of you that won't need to use them, but we'll hopefully use that as a guide too if we need to have someone check it out. Keith noted that he definitely is lacking in warm up, and I think that most of us are, Keith, so don't feel bad.
That's true.
We're all just busy. So just remember that it just goes a long way in making your run or your whatever exercise you're about to do a heck of a lot better. And then in the long run, you'll be better for it.
Even if you just start your workout easy and just gradually, build up your speed a little bit. It's going to go a lot slower than you normally would go out.
Mm-hmm.
So your body gets that chance to warm up, and the muscles get a chance to feel not so tight.
How long should the warm up be? That's another good question.
Everybody's kind of different.
Everybody's
different. So if it might take you 10 minutes to warm up, it could take somebody 5 minutes to warm up. So just however long it takes, don't worry about how long it takes. Just if it takes you 15 minutes to finally get warm, then 15 minutes it is.
Just build that time in, and if you're also nursing an injury, or that you're injury prone, let's say your calf, gets really tight really quickly, spend extra time on those body parts. So it might mean that you might need a little bit longer. Is it okay to do strengthening and Myrtle routine more often? 1000% yes, Janice. I am a firm believer of Myrtle, and I probably do the routine 5 times a week. It's always on a cross training day for me. I always include that in cross training, at least on a long run day, which hasn't been in a while, but I usually do that as a warm up, as part of my warm up. And then I got to be honest, which is very rarely a thing, if I'm just sitting around, if I can sit and watch TV for a half hour, I'll do Myrtle while I'm watching TV. But you cannot go wrong by adding Myrtle wherever, whenever you can. All right, so we're going down the list. We've got a couple of questions. When should you run with pain versus rest versus moderate? Okay, when should you moderate? Okay.
Pain is not good.
Pain is never good.
So discomfort is okay to run through. Pain is not okay to run through. If something's really painful, you want to shut it down, you want to have it checked out, whatever it might be. Again, like Lauren said before, we're not doctors, but depending on what it is, we can at least guide you towards somebody that can help. Worst case scenario, but you like shut it down with pain, rest. Recovery is always important as anything else. So, yeah.
I like that 3-day rule. We tend to, if someone says that they have an injury that kind of sneaks up and it's a little nagging and it's been sticking around for a couple of days, the 3-day rule, just take 3 days off, shut it down for 3 days. You're not going to lose fitness. Your body will actually probably thank you for a little bit of recovery, and then kind of see where you are. I always use the gauge if the pain intensifies as you're moving, that's definitely when you want to shut it down. If you feel like it's something that is just a little nagging, but you warm up and it subsides, it's something that you should probably pay attention to. But maybe not something that will completely shut you down. I'm also a firm believer in keeping a physical therapist in your back pocket because they're really good diagnosticians. So if you have one, usually they have no problem with a quick eval to make sure that you're, like do a functional movement screening and make sure everything looks good. They could also tell you if you tend to be prone to certain injury, if maybe you're tight on one side. So always keep that in your back pocket too. And we have some great physical therapists that we work with. So if you ever need a recommendation, just let us know. Yeah. Yep. So yeah, I don't know, Diane, if you were giving me thumbs up when I was telling you. So our high school coach used to always tell her that if it's getting worse while she's running, you should stop. I agree with that. I've also been taught ice right away.
Ice, rice, right?
Yeah.
Rest, ice, compression, elevation.
Yeah. Yeah. And always err on the side of caution, people. I mean, listen, we're not making money from this. I mean, you're out there running and it should be pleasurable. It should be fun. You're not getting a paycheck from it. So if something hurts, shut it down. And just err on the side of caution and then just come back strong. Okay, so that brings us to how to stay motivated. So kind of coming down here, Dawn is saying she's asking for tips. She's not used to consistently tracking everything, using the technology. Yes. Okay, so how to stay motivated. This program is a good way to get started.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So some of the things, and like Dawn is one of the questions she brought up. If you are having issues with technology and you don't download your workouts or even if you do download your workouts, sometimes taking a little journal and writing everything down.
I'll go get mine. I'm gonna go get mine. Hold on.
Lauren's gonna go get her journal. It's 365 pages long. But jotting things down, how you felt. Whether it was cold out and you had a rough day, whatever it is, every little thing helps because it also will track if you start to feel something coming on, like if your shins are bothering you or all of a sudden there's a pain in your calf. You can almost go back and read, go back a week or so and just look at what you had written down and say, okay, this started to bother me at this time, then it got worse, and then it got or went away. And nothing bothered me after a couple of days. But just writing anything down that you possibly can, whether how you felt, you had a bad day, didn't get enough sleep, anything along those lines, all that stuff is good. It's good for you, and it's good to track things along the way too. And you can see my training went so well, and my race was the best race I ever had. And you can always go back and look at that and say, this workout or this training plan for this schedule was amazing for me, so, writing it down as well. When you write stuff down, you remember it more too than just downloading it to your, to Garmin Connect or wherever you download it to.
Right. I definitely think downloading helps because it's kind of like on your phone in real time, and that's good. I have a weird way of working with my workouts. If it's written in my log, you could see your schedule with virtual, you could see your schedule a month out, 2 months out. So what I would do is I write a week out in my journal, and if it's written on a day, I have to do it. And so I'm holding myself accountable. But some of us are self-motivators and some not so much. And that's where I think the group runs come in to play. And I noticed that last week, some of you guys were there was a lot of chat on our Facebook page about getting together and working at the track together, which was awesome. So I think that we really encourage you guys to meet up at Fleet Feet for your conversational runs, your conversational walks. Meet at the track. Use that Facebook page to your advantage, because the more people you think are waiting for you, you're being held accountable to a group. That's pretty motivating. I also think clothing is a big motivator, because who's going to go out when it's 30 degrees if you don't have the right stuff on? Yeah, because you'd rather just stay inside, let's be honest. So if you have the right clothing, then there's no weather that's wrong. Like, it's just your clothing that's wrong. So we can help you with that. But yeah, I think clothing is huge.
Dress for success.
Right. Use your Facebook buddies. You got 71 virtual people, -2 because one's in California, which is super cool, and one's in Pennsylvania. So you got a heck of a lot of people that can meet you in different places. So definitely take advantage of that. Kind of scrolling down to see what else we have here. Yes, Janice, get that journal for Christmas. Ooh, natural foods for recovery. Okay, Keith, we're gonna circle back to that. Oops, okay. I know this is nuts, but I'm having bouts of performance anxiety. No. Oh, Susan Gibson, you're very sweet. Yes, we're all watching you, but don't have anxiety about it. Yeah, no, this is all supposed to be in good fun. Everyone should be enjoying this. And I usually give you a thumbs up. I've never said, woo, right? Yeah. We'll never say that. So yeah, just keep working. I think it was awesome. The other day, Susan logged in a swim and a cross-training strength day, which I thought was awesome. Little altercation at the pool that she was not involved in, but we chatted about it a little bit. But the cool thing is everybody's moving. We like to see people moving forward. So no anxiety, no performance anxiety. Everybody's doing awesome. Let's see. Okay, we're gonna go back to Keith in a second, but that was pretty much all I had for motivation. Did you have anything to add?
No, just remember that you're doing this for yourself, and don't worry about anybody else and what they're doing. Just know that, your accomplishments are all that matter. Not everybody else is around you. So, and like Lauren was saying, you have lots of people to hook up with. There's lots of people that are at your pace that they'd be more than happy to, run with you, and this way you have conversation and get you through the days. When you meet somebody, especially during the cold weather, and you know that there's somebody out there waiting for you, and they know that you're waiting for them, you're going to get out there and you're going to do what you got to do. So just remember that.
Yeah. So Keith snuck in a question, sneaky Keith, about natural foods for recovery. So our next Facebook Live event is December 30th, and one of our subjects is going to be recovery, not specific to natural foods, but we were going to talk about recovery. But I'm just going to sneak in a quick, and I am not a nutritionist. I am not a specialist in this area. And I don't know if you have anything to add, but I would say from a natural perspective, one of my favorite things is coconut water, which I have to drink when it's freezing cold, or else it tastes like gross stuff. Yeah, so coconut water is one of my favorites. Another favorite thing, it's not necessarily food, but I'm big into doTERRA essential oils, and they make a deep blue blend. You don't drink it because it very much tastes like kind of a Bengay product, but you can rub that directly onto your muscles. They make like a lotion blend, and that was a lifesaver for me when I was training for a pretty big event last year. So that is an all natural product, and that helped me. But as far as natural foods go for recovery,
protein.
Yeah, protein. 20 grams of protein, 20 to 30 minutes after a workout will definitely help. Susan's giving me a thumbs up on Deep Blue, which is awesome. Yes, pineapple is great for anti-inflammatory. You know, it's like the whole adage of adding the protein, eat clean. Sugar is an inflammatory, so if you want to cut that out, and that's hard because it's in everything. But yeah, so that's kind of a quick glimpse into that. But we can dive into that a little bit later, and we can even do a little bit more research on that. And Cecilia, where do we get Deep Blue? It is, I could put a link, but doTERRA is the name of the company. It's a essential oil product. And yeah, so I was told chocolate milk is good for recovery. So I have in my refrigerator dark chocolate almond milk, which is one of my favorite things to drink for recovery. Just a small, like 4 ounce, because there's some sugar in it too. Okay. So yeah, so I think that's it. Oh, Susan says, and Amazon sells Deep Blue. So there you go. Okay. Anybody else have any other questions? Going once, going twice. So, okay, so a couple of reminders, just real quick, that your Fleet Feet Running Club buffs are at the store. So if you want to stop by, people have started to come by to pick them up. It'll definitely help you stay a little warmer right now. So come and grab it if you can. Our California and Pennsylvania residences, we will mail them out. Actually, Crystal, I think, is picking up her California buddies and going to bring it out. Scott isn't getting emails or workouts. Scott is one of my people who did not accept the coaching invitation. That's the message that I keep getting. So Diane, I'll talk with him offline, and I could talk to you too. We could troubleshoot that, but I can see on my screen who hasn't accepted, and he's unfortunately one of them. I sent a couple of emails, but I guess he's not getting them. But we'll talk offline. Next Facebook Live event is Monday, December 30th, and we'll dive more into recovery. We'll definitely talk about training, make sure you guys are still on point with training. And let me just make sure nothing else is coming in. Okay, yeah, thanks, Rosemary. So that spam was big. Final Surge was going into a lot of spam boxes. So Diane, we can double check on that. So thank you for that. And if everybody else is good, we're going to sign off with happy holidays.
Yeah.
And keep on training, and just let us know if you guys have any questions. Keep using the Facebook page because you guys are awesome. Everybody's been chiming in and been very supportive of one another. So I think that's awesome. Next week, you're going to get a coupon code for the Penguin Pace 5K. So you guys can start registering for that. I think that's it.
So see you on the roads.
All right. Be safe out there. Bye.